The captain's tearful account echoed through the quiet room, each word like icy water chilling everyone present. He said the fleet had sailed smoothly across the endless ocean for many days, until they reached a place that seemed to be the edge of the world. There, the calm surface vanished, replaced by a gigantic river stretching as far as the eye could see. It surged forward with unstoppable ferocity, roaring down into a bottomless abyss in the heart of the ocean. To the African sailors of that era, this mysterious and treacherous ocean current was seen as the wrath of the gods, a nether river that devoured all living things. The 200 large ships were swallowed by the violent whirlpool in an instant. Before anyone could scream, the black waves tore the vessels to pieces, dragging them down into eternal darkness. The captain had been sailing at the very rear of the formation. The moment he spotted the danger, he hacked down the main mast with all his strength and barely escaped the current's pull. Riding favorable crosswinds, he drifted all the way back to shore. When his tale ended, the captain kowtowed frantically, begging the king to abandon this sacrilegious plan and burn all the timber used for shipbuilding. Every minister present breathed a sigh of relief, certain that such a devastating total loss would bring the king back to his senses and his safe golden throne. Yet Abubakari too, sitting half in shadow, rose slowly after hearing the dreadful story. There was no fear or sorrow in his eyes, only a fanatical light that sent a shiver through those around him. He said gently to the captain that if this was a river flowing onward, its far bank must lead to an entirely new world they had never known. If 200 ships were not enough, then they would send 2,000 to cross it. This utterly irrational decision plunged the entire Mali Empire into unprecedented panic and despair. Everyone understood that the gentle king had given his soul entirely to the abyss, and no person or force could ever bring him back. In the early summer of 1311, the beach at the Gambia estuary witnessed one of the most heroic yet somber farewells in human history. 2,000 massive warships filled the entire bay, looming faintly through the morning mist. Their dense masts stood like a forest of steel floating on the water. 1,000 ships carried Africa's finest weapons, sturdy farm tools, and enough grain and seeds to sustain life for years. The other 1,000 held loyal soldiers, sailors, and craftsmen who had volunteered to follow their king on his journey, some even bringing their families. Standing on the deck of the royal flagship, decorated with pure white cotton cloth and towering like a fortress, Abubakari II wore the plainest robe of his life, without a single golden ornament symbolizing royal power. At the final moment before departure, before the assembled crews and tens of thousands of subjects lining both shores, he slowly removed the Mali crown that represented supreme authority. Turning around, he placed the crown, stained with the blood and wealth of mortal affairs, into his younger brother Mansa Musa's hands with calm resolve. He gave no instructions on governing the kingdom, nor did he ask to keep his right to the throne. He merely spoke softly to his brother, saying that from then on, this golden cage would belong to him. Holding the cold, heavy crown, Musa fell to his knees on the deck, tears streaming down his face. For the first time, he felt the overwhelming greatness and solitude embodied by his elder brother. A deep, mournful horn blast rang out across the sky. 2,000 mooring ropes were cut at the same time, and the immense fleet drifted slowly toward the open ocean with the ebb tide. Loud wails burst from the crowds on both shores. People knelt on the red mud beach, bowing repeatedly toward the sea, bidding farewell to the ruler they had once loved, who had now chosen to leave them behind. Abubakari too remained standing at the stern. The mountain wind fluttered his robes. His gaze never lingered on the weeping people or the golden continent fading into the distance. His eyes stayed fixed ahead, toward the boundless black mist of the Atlantic that was gradually swallowing his fleet. Abubakari II and his 2,000 ships vanished completely into the dust of history. For 700 years, the Atlantic waves have crashed endlessly against the West African coast, yet no trace of the fleet has ever returned. Some say the entire company perished in that terrifying nether river on a starless night, their remains reduced to bones and broken wood resting on the deepest seabed. Other historians have discovered ancient inscriptions and peculiar metal tools bearing Mali's cultural style along the coast of Brazil in South America, leading them to speculate that the fleet braved the storms and became legendary pioneers who reached the New World long before Columbus. But all these debates and guesses no longer matter to the king who made his choice on that stormy eve. What he truly left to the world was not the coordinates of a new continent, nor glorious achievements to boast about, but a profound parable of how the human soul breaks free from the chains of material desires. While his brother Mansa Musa won worldwide admiration with gold, those coins eventually crumbled into dust with the passage of time, and the glory of the Mali Empire faded into ruins. Abubakari too, however, embarked on a journey of no return, uniting his name forever with the vast ocean that symbolized boundlessness, freedom and the unknown. The chill of the night has gradually lifted as the story draws to an end, while the night sky outside remains as deep and vast as ever. That seafaring king, standing at the stern of the royal flagship and bidding farewell to his golden throne with a smile, must now be sailing across some gentle sea free of storms, where only falling stars drift down. He rests in perfect peace. Tonight, you have followed him across the tides of words through this 1,000-year journey of solitude. Close your eyes. Feel the last faint warmth of the dying fire, and drift slowly into a quiet dark dream, far away from all turmoil. Sweet dreams.